So, can blockchain be a catalyst for development in Africa? Here is our interview with John Lombela.
It's going to be a pretty unique show where we're talking to digital entrepreneurs and Black entrepreneurs that are actually doing great things. Let it be in the marketing space, let it be in cryptocurrency. And I brought back John Lombela, a good friend of mine who's been playing in that space for quite a while. John Lombela, John is the cryptocurrency guru. I call him like that.
I'm an entrepreneur myself, all the way from South Africa. It is important to always develop new things, right? So ambitiously build new cases beyond just financial services. Yes, we believe in the financial services. I mean, Bitcoin, as a matter of fact, was created as a payment system, a peer-to-peer cash electronic system. It all started from there, but it doesn't have to stop there.
Well, welcome to the show, guys. Well, this is another edition of an exciting moment whereby two entrepreneurs originally from the DRC are going to be spending some time. We have about an hour together, and I'm bringing here today the one and only, and a good friend of mine. This is more than a friend. He's actually a brother, somebody we've gone to school with, and his name is none other but Ruddy Mukwamu. So I'm going to bring him on the show. And while I do so, gentlemen and ladies from wherever you are watching this particular show from, please give us some heart, give us some love, share and like and share and with all your friends. I am particularly excited for this event tonight, guys. Really, Ruddy, welcome on board. Welcome to the Really Fun Your Hustle show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me tonight. Thank you.
It is cold. It is cold in Johannesburg. It is cold. That's why I'm having this little thing here. And and I had a fresh haircut yesterday. I tried earlier on. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to show off my haircut. But guys, it is really, really cold. The funny thing it is about this event is Ruddy and I are French speaking, and we are originally from the DRC, and we live in South Africa. It's been over about 18 years already, but our audiences are both French speaking and English speaking. Yeah. But as tech entrepreneurs have been, having lived in South Africa for quite some time, we found ourselves very, very comfortable always engaging in English, right? But as we go by, and I'm pretty sure pretty soon we are going to start having conversation in French as well, conversation that actually will benefit the people who cannot even understand a single word of English. But today we are going to talk about how do we build a business and scale it out, especially in the moment of a recession. And right now we are talking about a pandemic. So okay. I welcome all of you guys, and please, from wherever you are, as you're tuning in, please tell me where you are from. If you are from South Africa, from Nigeria, Ghana, or the DRC, whether you speak French, whatever, wherever, please tune in, because Ruddy and I are going to share some nuggets exactly about our journey, how we actually kicked off, and all that kind of stuff. So share, give us some love, give us some heart. Start a watch party with your friends. I want to watch this particular show here. and I look forward to really having an awesome session. So without further ado, guys, and I see we have a great attendance so far, just about 15 people tuning in, and that's looking good. And we're having growing numbers. I look forward to having a great conversation, guys. So remember, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the questions in the comment, because not only do I see your questions and we can actually address them. If you are an entrepreneur starting out, if you are in fintech, if you want to know a few things about blockchain, if you want to know about MaxiCash and how it works, if you want to know about the StokFella application, if you want to know just about how do you get started in your business, please ask the questions below. I just want to remind you guys, if any of you are following me on my personal page on Facebook, chances are I will not see your comments, right? Because they don't show up in my particular feed. But I definitely will encourage you, if you are watching from there, to jump on my public page so I can actually see the questions right now. So Rudy, welcome on the show, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of people from the DRC who certainly are watching this particular show, but this is about you. This is not about me. It's about putting you on the spotlight. It's about your journey as an entrepreneur. And I know that you and I, perhaps as you talk here, obviously the people who don't know will be able to understand how you and I kicked off. But the one thing that I want you to start talking about is, I want you to introduce yourself. Who are you and where you're from? And a lot of people already know exactly who John Lombela is. And I'm your host, and I'm pretty excited to have Rudy here. Please go ahead, man, and do me the honor.
For most of you who don't know me, my name is Ruddy Mukwamu, entrepreneur originating from the DRC. I came to South Africa to study IT, funny enough, but entrepreneurship has always been in my heart. So I started my entrepreneurship journey with John here. We built a good business back 2008 called JRB Solutions, and we did our thing. Like I always like to call it, Kobe and Shaq. We're pretty good at it, but obviously, as different vision, we obviously went ways. He went his way, I went my way to be able to do other things. So I created a company called Pluritone in 2010. So Pluritone in 2010, and my first project for Pluritone was an online store, one of the first online stores in DRC called the Maxi Shop. So the Maxi Shop was an online store that will enable people, let's say in DRC, to be able to order some product from South Africa. It went well, but we obviously had a few challenges at the time. Recession one side, the second side was also internet penetration, which wasn't good at that time in Africa. It was quite a challenge for people to be able to buy online. And the few people that could buy online, they were being told by the banks, please don't use your credit card online. Please don't use your credit card online, because there's a lot of fraudsters out there. You're going to go online and use a card and they're going to steal your money. So it was quite a challenge for us having an online store and being able to convince people to be able to order from our shop and us delivering the product without us receiving the money. This thing that we have in Africa of cash on delivery wasn't something that we're going to entertain. So at the time, we decided we could have a solution. We came up with a scratch card similar to what you see for Apple iTunes. So a scratch card called at the time the MaxiCash. So that was the first MaxiCash card that you would scratch. It had a code on it and it had a specific value, a $10, $20, $30 type of value. You buy that the partners, and you go to the Maxi Shop website and be able to order some product and have it delivered to you. Even after that was still a challenge because people still didn't believe in buying online. It was quite a challenge. And the difficult part for me was I've always been toward innovation. For me, it was innovative to be able to throw such a product. But I think that we were ahead of a curve. We were ahead of the internet, the people. They were not even there. It's something we kept in the back of our mind that we could come back to, but it was something the market wasn't ready for. The market wasn't ready to do that. Today, I regret sometimes to not have kept the Maxi Shop for as long as I could. The problem being an entrepreneur is that not only you start the project, but maintaining it can be even more challenging to maintain a project.
Sure.
Spending money into building that system, building the relationship, it can really hurt you when it comes to cash flow. So obviously we ran out of money very quickly to be running the Maxi Shop website and the MaxiCash initiative. So we closed down. So after closing down, we decided, okay, fine, what can we do? I decided I would invest myself into mobile app development. So I'm going to build some mobile apps, be one of the best mobile app development company. Really put our effort into doing that in 2013. So we focused on building a lot of apps, doing what we used to call it in one. So we'll build one app for 3 different stores, one for an iPhone, one for an Android, and one for a Windows phone at the time. So we'll build with one source code. We will build kind of 3 apps for you, and we did that for a good time. It was quite successful until we met a gentleman by the name of Tsepo Moloi. We met a person.
I remember that time.
Really knowing. He impacted our business. He impacted our life somehow.
Right.
So he came to see us. He was introduced by another friend called Patrick Palmy of Just Palm. Introduced him to. He's like, okay, fine. You want to build an app? Go speak to Ruddy. Yeah, that's what he does. He will help you to be able to build a mobile app. So he came to see us, or making us sign NDAs at the time. I was like, what's wrong with this dude? You just want to build an app. You don't need to do all this paperwork stuff, you know.
NDA.
You're gonna steal my idea, kind of thing. So okay, fine, we'll do it by the book, no problem. So we did that. So and the first day he explained what his vision was. We bought into it immediately. Okay, his vision was simple. It was how does he help the Black community to be financially literate? Okay, he went back to thinking of how did he receive his financial literacy from being a kid, okay? And he had it from his mother, okay? His mother that used to have a Stockvel, okay? For some people in Congo, they will understand it as Likelemba, for example. So he grew up, his mother who used to do Stockvel, and it's the Stockvel money that helped him to go to school, to be able to finish his studies and everything. So he came from that perspective. So it's like, how can I take that learning from Stockvel and help other South Africans to be financially literate by building a platform that will enable them to be able to learn about financial literacy, okay? And that's how came the StokFella app, okay? So we did the StokFella app, which was a boom, okay? For us, it was a boom because the biggest online magazines like Media24 started talking about the stock scene. A StokFella app, an app that would enable you to be able to manage your Stockvel, to help you to invest, to be able to track your investments, and have all the members within the Stockvel to see, and transparency to see who has put money, who hasn't put money. We can clearly see how much money we have, because before they used to do it in such a way that will have one person that's holding a book that will write everything. So everybody, they will call them and say, hey, well, how much do we have this month? How much have we loaded this month? With the StokFella app, it made it easy for them to just keep track of the investment, all of the money, of their savings. So after that, the StokFella app gave us that exposure that we were really looking for, because we used to do these small apps for some people, but from there, people recognize our talent, they recognize what we could really do. And then we started having a lot more projects. We started having a lot of projects from a lot of people after seeing what we've done from the StokFella app for a period of time. And then obviously that also gave me the idea, how do I relook at the MaxiCash initiative? Remember, we did in 2010 a scratch card that enabled people to be able to buy online. So I'm like, okay, fine, now that I know how to build apps, what can I do with the MaxiCash app, right? With the MaxiCash card, you know? So quite fun. What don't we build a MaxiCash app? So we build an app to replace the card that will enable someone using a mobile app to be able to buy or to transfer money. That's how we came up with the MaxiCash app. We ran it for a time. It was pretty slow. It was slow, a very slow start to be able to convince people to use our app to either buy or to transfer money using the tool, and we were kind of new in the fintech market just after releasing StokFella. We were trying to concentrate on this MaxiCash app until we built what we call the MaxiCash Gateway, which changed our life in MaxiCash completely, right? Because with the MaxiCash app, it came with the thinking that people are looking for a way to transfer money or to make payments, but they are kind of losing money. They're taking money away from them to be able to pay.
Sure.
With the
And it's a
MaxiCash,
lot of money, actually. Yeah?
yeah,
It's a lot of money.
and the
But for
MaxiCash
all
Gateway had a totally different concept because it will help an entrepreneur to get money, right? So the MaxiCash Gateway will enable an entrepreneur to get money remotely. Okay, they don't need to be at proximity to anybody else. They can receive a payment even from a client who's based in the USA, and I'm here in South Africa. I'm a freelancer. I can receive my payments using the platform. I'm sitting somewhere in Congo. I can do some work for someone, and they pay me. And then we met another gentleman. I like my entrepreneurship career because it's made of so many networking initiative that has built my business to the next level. I met a gentleman by the name of Boni Maya. Okay, introduced by another
Oh
friend.
yes, the Congolese entrepreneur Boni Maya. Yeah,
Maya.
with Emart. Yeah, right. Indeed.
So someone introduced us to him, which is Jose.
By the way, shout out to Boni if you're watching this. Shout out to you, man. I know you're doing some great work with Emart, and this is amazing. Shout out to you. I've met you. You are just one of the most prominent figures in the fintech world in the DRC. So kudos, man.
Yeah. So
Carry on,
we
bro.
met Maya, introduced by another gentleman by the name of Jose Kimpalu, the guy who's running WapiMed and the MadePay platform. So he introduced us. He's like, I like what Ruddy is doing when it comes to MaxiCash, and I like what Boni is doing at the time when it comes to providing an online store that sells groceries. If you guys find a way to find some synergy, it could be something that could work. So we like, okay, fine. So we could find an initiative for the diaspora. What if I was in South Africa and I've got my family, which is back home, and I could just buy the groceries for them instead of sending money? Okay, because most of the time I have to send money more, and it's probably because I have to send money for groceries anyway, for stupid living expenses. So we're like, fine, I could save money by just purchasing the things that they need without having me to send money and pay exorbitant costs in all of these money agencies. So, and that's what we did with Emart. We partnered with Emart, MaxiCash and Emart, good partnership, enabling the diaspora to be able to buy online and get their product shipped directly there in Kinshasa, which was pretty amazing because we had another very good response from it. And when people saw what we did with Emart, we started getting bombarded by a lot more merchants, a lot of entrepreneurs that saw what we did with Emart, and they're contacting us. We probably received 50 to 100 application every month to be able to buy into the MaxiCash platform and to see it work. And obviously, right now, after seeing what we've done, we also saw another challenge. One of the biggest challenge was that we couldn't, in certain markets, in South Africa, it's pretty developed. Doing banking is pretty easy. I can send money from Standard Bank to FNB by just doing it. But in countries like Congo, sending money from Equity Bank to Raw Bank takes few days, 3 days. Sometimes it can take even more.
Yet within the same country.
The same country. So signing up merchant and binding them to a single bank was becoming also challenging, right? Because they are forced to use a specific bank that we tell them, like, guys, rather use our partner bank if you want to receive your money on time, right? If you're going to be on another bank, you're going to receive it in a few days or whatever. So like, fine, what if we had our own solution for people to extract the money? After receiving their payments, they need a way to get their cash. And that's how came the MaxiCash Visa card. Okay, the MaxiCash Visa card enables them now, and that's how all of those three platforms connect to each other. There's a mobile app, there's a gateway for them to receive the payment. With the app, they can keep track of their payment, they can see it on the app and everything. And a good way for them to extract their money is the MaxiCash Visa card. So that kind of closed the loop on the MaxiCash platform to enable people to be able to send money, receiving money, and now they have a card that they're able to withdraw. So that's kind of roughly my entrepreneurship life
Look, wow, this is beautiful, man, and I think you've given a great summary of all of this. And just to backtrack a little bit, some of you guys following us, and you heard that Ruddy mentioned that the first company we both created was called JRB Solutions. And for those of you who may not know, JRB Solutions stood for J for John, the R for Ruddy, and the B for Belinda. So shout out to you, Belinda, if you are tuned in and watching on this live. But Belinda is currently in the DRC. She was a great friend of ours, and very bubbly, like, and somebody who always, you know, she was actually drawing out of the energy that Ruddy and I was including, right? And the one story which is quite fun though. I mean, this is the love of two entrepreneurs, and I do remember every time we worked together, I always praised Ruddy's work, and I was like, "Nah, man, come on, this guy's amazing." And I think for me it was more about the execution of tasks. Ruddy is so driven that he knows how to execute tasks, and but for him as well, it was like, no, I mean, John is the kind of guy who just does some amazing stuff, and this is where two entrepreneurs are there to complement each other, for us to be able to work. And I think the one lesson that I want to give to all of you guys, entrepreneurs who are watching, is this: when you are building a business, it is really important at the very beginning to identify who are the people that can help you to build a business. I remember again, as if it was a dream of yesterday, when I first came up with the idea of JRB Solution. First of all, I didn't even know the name JRB Solution, but I think we kind of came up with JRB Solution because we were not as innovative to find another name, right? Yeah. But I remember, I remember just this one week, I think it was in 2007, a few days after New Year's Eve. So what I did, I reached out to Ruddy. I actually called 7 friends of mine: Ruddy, Belinda, Daddy. If he's watching this, kudos to you, man, and shout out to you, Alain Bemba, and 2 other friends, Toto Munai and Pati Diba. So those were the friends. So 7 people that I put in one single room, and I think we went to Toto's house for him to be able to say, you know what, listen, we have an idea, we want to launch a company. And I mentioned to them, I put all of you guys together because each and every single one of you has got a skill, a unique skill that will contribute towards the success of what we want to do. We didn't have money. We didn't have any loans. Nobody believed necessarily in us, but it was actually just the desire to go out there and do something completely unique, something that, you know, we were going to be proud of, and we wanted to offer solutions. So of course, not everybody bought into the idea. So not everybody had the entrepreneurial spirit within them. Some of them were concerned about their securities in terms of salary. They asked me a question, but John, you know what? How are we going to do with salaries? I said, look, guys, we don't have money to pay you right now. But the one thing I can assure you is we are going to get work. And I had like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. So if this doesn't work, we're going to be into plan B. If plan B doesn't work, we're going to plan C, and so forth. And until we exhaust all the options, and if nothing worked, we were still highly skilled for us to go back into employment, review our strategies, and go back again into our roads to entrepreneurship. But guess what? Here's the one thing. And I knew that jumping on that bandwagon, it was a moment of no return. Yeah. So I first jumped, right? I jumped, but Ruddy was still working. You know, he had a full-time job, but every single one of us were waiting on the right moment. So I managed to build up cash flow for us for about 4 or 5 months. And I think we had our first employee, Lucia Skosana. Shout out to you, Lucia, if you're watching. We had our first employee. She had just landed from the UK and really recommended me to her. She's like, you know what? Talk to this lady. I've met her before. She's quite skilled. She's a good analyst. And guess what? She was, I did not even earn a salary, but she was the first salaried employee of JRB Solutions. And we paid her 10,000 Rand a month. Mm-hmm. So, and after that, I think Ruddy made the jump, and he made a big jump. I think it was around May or June of 2008. He decided, you know what, John, let's go ahead and do this. And that's exactly how that particular journey went on. And you know what? The one thing I want to talk to you about is, and I know we obviously ran JRB Solutions and eventually different mindset, but obviously carrying on, still working together on various projects, but at the same time moving on with our own initiatives, right? But I want to talk about and I've seen you grow. I mean, first of all, I know you are an introvert person. That's something I know. But at the same time, for me to have you on the show right now and for you to be able to talk as freely as possible shows as well that, you know what, you've learned so many things in your journey to be able to come out as an introvert and being able to share a story. That's something that you couldn't do. And I know that for a fact. And I've seen you as you grow in that particular journey. So I want you to talk to me about the importance of mentorship, business coaching, and networking, because at some point in your life, that was the pinnacle of unlocking that particular element of success. Because you and I both, when we went on business, we didn't have no mentors. We didn't have a business coach. But I know one thing, and I still remember, you wanted to develop multiple products. So that's the mind that Ruddy always had. He was like, you know what, John? We need to develop a Jaden HR and Jaden project management and Jaden CRM and Jaden this and Jaden that. And by the way, Jaden is actually the name of my son, and I named my company, the legal name after my son, and really didn't have any problem with that. And but he had ideas about products. That's just the kind of person he was. I mean, I want you to tell the audience what really was the pinnacle. What is the one thing that actually triggered? And I know mentorship and networking was the one thing as well. Please take me through and take the audience through this particular journey.
So just like you said, I was someone that didn't have so much of confidence, right? I knew that I could get the work done, but I wasn't the guy that's going to be talking to people in an event or socializing that much. That wasn't really my thing, right? So, however, when I was trying to find how I can improve with my business with Pluritone, we're trying to find maybe look for other avenues, other source of income, right? So there's a lady by the name of, I forgot her name, but she introduced me to Amway, right? She introduced me to network marketing. She introduced me to Amway network marketing. She's like, no, this is a way you can really make money and blah, 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 blah. I'm someone who I'm so innovation driven. So I was like, yeah, but I don't really see myself following these kind of rules, Like, no, and you're going to see how it works and everything, but fine, we're going to try it. So I go there, you get an event, and I saw other entrepreneurs in front explaining what they do with Amway. One of them obviously resonated with me. I wrote, this guy is like me. He's just like me. He's an entrepreneur, and I think that I can talk to him and we could relate, So he's explaining what he's doing, how he's building his business with Amway and everything. I'm like, okay, great, we'll try it. So myself and my wife, we tried to do Amway for some time. The learning of networking, getting out there, contacting people that you don't even know, that you've never met, all of that. That journey, going through that exercise, was so different for me, and that was a start of me understanding how people build businesses. Because when you're part of network marketing, by default you have an upline. Okay, your upline, mentor or your coach, right? So he's helping you to be able to build the business that you don't know. It's something we never had. We tried to build JRB solution based on skills. Okay, the skills we of doing,
and that's a very important aspect that I want to expand as well, because there is the aspect of skills and learning how to build a business. It's two different things, and it all depends on the vision. And you and I early on didn't have the vision. I think we were so in love with the skills.
Yes, we in love with and that's what we thought that was the business. Whereas running a business is a totally different game altogether. And going through helped me understand how do you build a business, at least in network marketing or a Amway business, because they teach you about things that you're just supposed to build within your business, things that you're just supposed to know. How do you get customers? How do you bring the customers on board? How do you create your first list to start talking to those customers? How do you engage with them? How do you sell? How do you get them to be able to be part of your network and be able to sell on your behalf? All of those things we started learning. And then obviously when you talk to the people that are within network marketing, you start building network. You start having new people that you didn't even know. And then one of the events, some friend told me, no, I'm going to this other event, please come. It was, I think, for entrepreneurial.co.za. I think it's entrepreneur.co.za. Right. Brian Walsh, I think it was an event, Brian Walsh.
Yes, so yes. I know Brian. Yeah, I've met him.
Brian Walsh event. And then we're sitting there. I'm there to learn. I'm there to learn. I was ready to learn as much as I can to become a great entrepreneur. So I'm going to this event to learn. And there's this gentleman that we meet there that just changed everything for me, right? I meet a gentleman by the name of JT Fox. Okay,
right.
JT Fox is there, all American, all full of himself, explaining how he does his business and blah 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 blah. Come to his event. It's on Sunday and everything. I'm like, okay, fine. He was the one who impressed me the most out of all of these entrepreneurs. And he's explaining how he does his business and his coaching system and everything. Like, okay, come to my event on Sunday. It's free anyway. Well, okay, fine. I have nothing to lose. There's a Sunday. I suit up. I come to the event. Those guys are amazing because they're explaining what they do. They're explaining things about marketing. How do you get your business? Because the one thing they explained to me is that how do you become the authority within a specific industry?
Correct.
Like, for you to be successful, you need to find a way to be an authority within a specific industry.
Absolutely.
And there's many ways of doing it by means of marketing, branding, everything. Sometimes you may not even have the skill to do so, but you paint yourself as the person who knows it all. And obviously, when you paint yourself, you find a way to elevate your skills while you're showing yourself out there that you are the person, you are the right person they need to talk to when it comes to whatever it is, the specific industry. And because we were doing mobile app, my intention was, how do we get Pluritone to stand out as the company, right, that is dedicated to the best company in Johannesburg for building mobile apps? And I go through the events with JT Fox, and for some reason they do this event and blah 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 blah, and then they start picking up this. They have these questionnaire things. So you're filling up the form, everything, filling up the form. They have tactics of picking their next customers. We don't know. We're just seeing that if they're picking you in a list, somehow you might be a smart guy. You must be clever. They pick. Eventually, they were looking for customers. For them, it was just customers. So people that go onto the coaching program of JT Fox, right? So that's how I started. So I joined the JT Fox program. I get assigned a very, very, very important person as well in my life by the name of Jason Evers, which was my coach within the JT Fox organization. He helped us really, really take Pluritone to the next level. The coaching was amazing. I've learned so much from marketing and branding and how to portray our business out there, how our website are supposed to be, landing on a website and seeing a telephone number there and everything. He really helped us to do that. So bottom line, the importance of mentorship, business coaching and networking is so amazing in the business. So you can't really do it all by yourself. And sometimes we look at athletes, I mean, basketball players, soccer players, and you see them having a coach, someone who's coaching them to get their career up to being their best. And we think that when you're an entrepreneur, you can do it by yourself, which is not necessarily. So get yourself involved with some type of business coaching, mentorship, or at least network. Get the opportunity to network, because the people you meet can open doors for you to be able to either get business or meet new investors. By networking, you're getting into networking, you really open your business to so many doors. And that's what has helped us, helped me in particular, to really move from the introvert person that you knew to what I am today. Today, I'm able to stand up to events, be able to talk about what I do, and be able to show all amazing things that we're busy working on and all of the innovations that we're doing. Obviously, it was a process for me that I really had to go through.
So this is beautiful. This is a beautiful story. And I remember you spoke to me about JT Fox. And I remember actually it was in 2014 when you called me and I met you at a Bryanston Country Club and you
Yes.
sat me down and you say, hey, John, you know what? I need to tell you something that is definitely going to change your life. I remember you were quite excited about that particular journey. And you told me you met JT Fox. I didn't know about. I didn't know nothing about JT Fox. You met me. You mentioned to me you met JT Fox. This is what he's been able to do for you. You've embarked on a coaching program and you've learned so many great things. And you even told me about his next event, which eventually I also did go on to that particular event, right? And when I went on that event, it must have been around July 2014. And I met the guy. The place was crowded, hundreds of people in that particular room. And but it was quite amazing. I was quite stunned by the whole thing. I must admit, I learned so many things. I started doing research about JT Fox and exactly about how he made his money. Of course, he has been, in some instances, a bit controversial for about his marketing tactics, but definitely he also unlocked so many things about me, and that's when I started going on a journey towards identifying exactly who could be my mentor. Okay, and whether I have one or multiple mentors, but that exactly was the one thing that stimulated me. I said, you know what, we definitely need to learn. Just because we are so good at certain skills doesn't mean we know how to run a business. It doesn't mean we know how to set up a business. And I realized that if we knew this earlier on when we started and we had a mentor, so many things could have happened along the way, right? And right now, what I want to talk about is, let's kind of give some nuggets out there about launching, running, and scaling a business during a recession. The reason why this is important is because when Ruddy and I started the first business, guess what? It was in recession, and the whole economic downturn collapsed. The whole thing collapsed in 2008. 2009 things were going on, and I remember we were indirectly affected, especially in 2010.
Yeah.
And 2010 we were indirectly affected, and 2011 things really happened pretty hard because then some of our biggest customers, including the guys like Secure Data, started, they were being removed from the stock exchange. Now you can only imagine if you have a big company that pays you big money, and you're relying on that fat check for all the services and SLAs we had. So we were indirectly affected. Now, with what we've learned and what you've learned as well, what would you recommend? What would you advise the entrepreneur watching us today? Because remember, there's quite a few guys out there who want to know our story, yours and mine. But most importantly, what can we provide to them as advice in this moment? Because now remember, this is a second recession for you and I, perhaps the first pandemic for in our lifetime, definitely. But what have we learned, and how can we help them to learn about the nuggets necessary to launch a business and scale it?
So when it comes to recession, there's few things you first need to know is why would you want to start a business right now? Everybody going like everybody's watching their money. Why would you want to start a business right now? Right. Especially with the pandemic. I mean, who wants to go out there and be starting a business? There's few reasons I think that you could use as opportunities that are presenting themselves. If I take for example, the masks. I mean, the masks are there. We were not selling masks before. Now,
exactly.
This is what we call new problems. Okay, in terms of recession or like this in pandemic, there will be new problems. New problems need to be solved. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, you need to find those new problems. Identifying those new problems could be a way for you to turn around your business day and night, right? So identifying those problems will lead you to find solutions for these problems, and people will need to obviously come to you as this person who has the solution for these problems. Obviously, starting a new business right now, comparing yourself with bigger companies, they have overheads, okay, that you don't have. You may want to start your business from home. So you could be agile, you could be cheaper, better, and faster to be able to do certain things. When it comes to competition, because everybody's also watching their money, they're not competing as much anymore. They're watching their money. They're trying to see how they're watching their cash flow. What should I spend on? What I should not spend on? So that means the competitive market opens itself for new players to come that have dedicated or target markets with targeted solutions that they can put out there and be able to get money real quick. Someone who's providing masks or branded masks or something like that, or products be used within an office to protect people from being contaminated, has a solution to a business problem, and there's not a lot of competitors within that market. You can just go and do it. As well, some products are no longer that expensive. Because of the recession, everybody's trying to sell, okay? Because materials are getting cheaper, the supplies are not that expensive. So you could, if you are a manufacturer, you could manufacture things within your office or within your home garage and build things very quickly at cheaper rates. And this is an opportunity for you to do so, right? And some companies like banks are even willing to listen to you when it comes to giving you credit options. So because nobody's got money, so the banks or the lenders are more lenient into giving you better credit options. So you could get things on credit, or even some suppliers, you can get things on credit and pay them. You can tell them nobody's paying us right now on time, so you can use that opportunity to have better credit options, right? So these are the why you should actually start looking into investing into starting a new business, right? But now, when you're starting a new business, right, what are the ways you can really start, right? Obviously, you should have products that are not that expensive. You need to identify those needs and really identify them very well and say, this is a need that I see right now in the time of recession. People are looking for bananas. So you go look for bananas at the cheapest rate you can get it and sell it as cheap as possible, right? You need to offer a solution. That's a basic when it comes to business. You find someone to purchase from you easily when you're solving a problem for them. You're bringing a solution, you're solving a problem for them, they'll be willing to pay you for it. If you have a business that used to be leisure, or people have options or deciding if they should use it or not, that's where you're going to lose. But if you have something that has a direct solution to a problem right now, someone is going to pay it. Today, they say you can't go out of your house without a mask. You are going to buy a mask. You are not going to think, am I going to build my own mask or whatever? If you've had the talent, maybe you do. But in most cases, you just buy the mask. You don't ask the question. Should you have sanitizer? You just go and buy sanitizer. I guess all these sanitizer producers, they're seeing a boom right now. Seeing a boom because they have a solution right now. Look at Zoom. I don't know how much money they've made since COVID-19. They had their platform always been there. This platform has always been there. But now, thanks to COVID-19, everybody needs to stay at home and have this kind of interaction. Zoom has seen their markets grow tremendously, right?
And I think that brings me to the scalability, being able to scale the business. And I'm going to talk about MaxiCash as well. I mean, it's a good thing that you talk about Zoom. Zoom had been around for over 7 years, right? And as much as it was there, Zoom did not make as much money as they actually did in the first quarter of 2020. Now, they had an easy product, cheap to access, very easy to navigate compared to the Skypes and Teams and Google Meets and Messenger and or WhatsApp and whatnot. Convenient, really not too concerned about burdening the minds of somebody who just want to get on a video call and start talking to people out there. And all of a sudden, the one thing that people knew during this COVID-19 situation was Zoom. But Skype was there. Skype has always been around. Microsoft Teams has always been around. Google Hangout has always been around. But I think the model they came up with was quite amazing. And of course, they were criticized with regard to security aspect. But the way they also listened to the market and say, okay, Zoom is fake. Zoom is not right. Zoom has got security. And by the way, talking about Zoom has got security issues, it is true because before they improved on the latest encryption model, I remember I was on a Zoom call, okay, with my regular weekly meetings. I was on a Zoom call, and on this particular day, I think four people, probably European or from the US or Asia, jumped on the call, and they were doing funny things, man. Like they were swearing, they were drinking beer, they were showing their bellies, and I was like, oh, hold on a second, who invited these people? So I had to kick them out. So this only to show that the security concerns of Zoom were quite real, but I think right now they've been able to improve on that. And why am I talking about this? I mean, you and I had a conversation about a month ago, and you mentioned to me that MaxiCash for the first time saw a rise during COVID-19. Please talk to the audience about that.
Okay, cool. So MaxiCash, obviously, we've always been a remote payment solution, right? And for us, COVID-19 just made people realize how important the MaxiCash platform was, right? So most of them used to brush it off, just look at, okay, fine, the guys, they're doing some innovative product out there. Maybe someday it's going to be useful. Yeah?
Right.
I've had the vision that this thing could be very successful if it is placed within the right environment, right? And COVID-19 was the environment. Now people realized, let me give this platform a chance.
Right.
Let me see if I can pay for the goods. Let me see if I can use it to transfer the money. Let me see if I can use that to be able to pay for my Netflix. We can talk about 5 times the numbers that we used before, past February. So March, it's like March, April, May, we've every month doubled on our transactions. We've doubled on transactions purely because of the fact that people have realized that this platform was good. It could do what I wanted to do. I don't need to go into a branch to be able to transact. I can buy online. I can buy my airtime online. I can buy my TV channels and DSTVs and all of those things online. And this is what helped. Now that people know how it works, it's now a no-brainer. You know, I don't need to be teaching the gospel anymore. You know, the people that are using it are the ones telling other people how good the platform is. You know, so people come to us right now today. It's not people. We even stopped the marketing because we did marketing in March, doing social media marketing, and we're getting bombarded by so much calls and so much WhatsApp and Messenger chat that we couldn't even handle it. Because of the COVID, we had to have the team working from home, and it was difficult to manage all of those things. We even stopped marketing. Yet people come every day trying to know about the MaxiCash platform, either for getting a Visa card for his family abroad, either getting a MaxiCash gateway so that he can receive payments. And this is much what has worked for us. And it's pretty amazing to see that something that you put out there, and just like you said, my mindset was always in product. Having a product that will enable me to sleep at night. When I'm sleeping at night, this thing is transacting. Every time I used to do consulting and I get tired, I say, I can't get tired because this money is so dependent on me being healthy and being awake and being cautious in what I'm doing to make sure that I have the right quality of the product or the service that I'm rendering for this customer so that he can pay me. And I always knew as I'm getting older, it's gonna be difficult to keep up with doing that. If I'm also I can't carry on doing software development for years, man. Let me build a product that's there. You can use, you can pay, and then they just use the product. And that's today. I'm pretty happy that we are getting now the traction that we've always wanted, and we can start now talking to the investors with facts, with facts that are there. The transactions are there. They can see it. Before it was just an idea. When you're meeting an investor, it's just an idea. Can really this thing work? You know. Right now, we have so much of transaction that talking to the investors even easier. You even have the head by telling the investor, you're going to get 10% for this much that you can give me. Before, it was like, whatever money you can give me, I can use it. But right now, because the platform works and I can see the transaction going through, the talk is it's definitely a different talk.
Talking about that, and that's quite important. And by the way, before I mention anything else, ladies and gentlemen, for wherever you are, if you have any questions with regards to either MaxiCash or the StokFella platform, or just fintech in general, and also the topic that we are addressing right now, please feel free to put in on the message below, and we should be able to get it. And just remember, if you are posting your comments or your questions into my private message, or my private Facebook, I am unable to see them. So I can only see them from Twitter or YouTube, or if you are connecting live on my public Facebook account. But coming back into this session that Ruddy mentioned, I want to tap into a certain element of moving from an idea to a really substantial, valuable project or product that you can actually go on out there and start talking to investors. Can you briefly mention to me that particular journey, and then we're going to change gears towards another topic that is quite interesting as well, because I want to tap into your brain about the future of MaxiCash. But tell me exactly from the idea to the project that you have right now, because remember, for you to translate that idea, you obviously spent so many hours development. You and I are software developers, like some of the greatest developers. But just like you, I know you continue developing, but I've kind of put my mind to a pause into writing software development. I can still engage and write a few codes, but you know what? I've spent so many nights and sleepless nights working and writing codes, and today I am more interested about building businesses and moving from ideas to project, okay, and to valuable, and just building multiple businesses as an entrepreneur. I'm quite excited about it. But I want you to tell me and tell the audience the process from idea to project, or valuable project and business, before you can actually attract investors.
Yeah. So obviously the journey from going from idea to project, I'd say it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey, because when you have an idea, you don't know so many things, and the things that you don't know, it's about 95% of things that you don't know that are out there. Yeah. And you're building something thinking that people can use it. And we, being an innovative product, it's always a challenge, because you have to ask yourself the question: is what I'm bringing out there as an innovation needed, right? Because some certain innovation are not needed, or the people don't know that they need them. If you think of Steve Jobs' way of thinking about innovation, was always, I think the customers will need this, and that's where a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong, especially when they are in innovative products. They come up with products that people don't need. And now the journey of convincing or educating people in the use of the tool is even harder. So the start of the idea is the easiest part. I'm thinking I need to do this amazing thing. I would use it, right? I would use it. I think it's amazing. It could be a hat that turns into a mask or something like that. Use that, right? Until you throw it out there with some friends and family to say, would you use this thing? Then they start questioning, and that's a problem sometimes we have as entrepreneurs, that everything you're doing out there, as soon as you start telling friends, then people say, who's going to use this thing? Then would you use it? I wouldn't use it, And sometimes you get off track. You get off track thinking about something you could have done better, but someone else is telling you that he doesn't really think it's a good idea. Or the best that people like to say is, there's already someone else doing this thing.
Correct.
That's one that shuts a lot of entrepreneurs, because he was thinking of his idea. Maybe he didn't know there was someone else also doing it. Like we didn't know that there were people already having products similar to MaxiCash out there. We're just thinking that we are the master of the idea. We're coming up with the idea, people can keep using it. You didn't even know that other people could have done something like that. Companies like World Remits that were far ahead than us into doing something like that. And we start meeting investors. But there's already this other company doing this. Then you ask yourself a question: do I stop here, or do I stay and believe in my goal?
Right.
encourage
Right. That's
stop
very important.
telling yourself, this
That's
was my
very
this was my vision. My vision may not be that other product. The reason you came up with that product is not necessarily how they did. So you stick to your goals, stick to your vision, and then get on either develop it yourself or find other people that can help you develop a prototype. And then from there, you can obviously start growing the product and start going to different iteration of the product, get the customers engaged with the product. They're going to give you feedback. You're going to change some of the things until you get to the product to a mature stage. It took us like 3 years, almost 4 years. It took us 4 years from when we started the MaxiCash idea until where we are today. And when I look at what we have today and the journey it took us, the learning we've had in understanding fintech, the fraud around fintech, and all of those elements, in day one, we had no clue. We had no clue. We just wanted to have an app that people could use, but there were so many things we didn't know about it. And going through the journey, people need to understand that it took companies like PayPal years before people started using it, like 8 years or so before starting. Zoom, like for example, like you say, it took them 7 years until people really can start using it the way it's being used today. So there's a lot of product that takes a long time because of the learning curve. You have to go through the journey. So many things you need to learn until you get the product to be a mature stage.
So before we move on, let's take one question here. Somebody is asking, how do you handle the pressure of people telling you that someone has the same product already?
Okay. There's another, I forgot. Oh, I cannot forget one of my best coach. There's a lady by the name of Anel. She was also one of my coach.
Okay.
I went to a program with a company called RaceCorp. Okay, I was selected for Microsoft entrepreneurs to be going to a coaching program. So I met a lady by the name of Anel. She gave me a different understanding when it came to competition. Okay,
right.
Rudy, let me ask you, John. When you want to eat a pizza, where do you go?
To a restaurant that sells pizza. Or
give me a name. If you want to eat pizza right now, where would you go?
I go to Doppio Zero.
You go to Doppio Zero. Why wouldn't you go to Romans?
That's a good question. The only reason why I go to Doppio, I used to go to Romance, but the only reason why I go to Doppio Zero is because the quality of the pizza is different. And Romance to me appealed more to students, and I was a student before, and I loved the idea of spending 23 Rand and getting 2 pizzas. But also, I think it seemed to me that the Romance environment was more geared towards, a certain category of people, more like the students. But a Doppio Zero would be a more matured environment and so forth. That's the reason why I would think Doppio Zero, so forth.
And that's what business is about. It's about flavors.
Correct.
It's flavors. Me and you can be running the exact same company, doing the exact same thing, but there will be a flavor that will be different. You may like their sauce better. You may like their deals better. Business. Think of what will be your flavors. What will make you stand out or be different? Maybe you just want a niche market, So when someone is telling you, no, there's already other companies doing it, then you need to think, what is that my company is going to do? Either different or that is going to have a different hook. It could be that when people come to my restaurant, I give them wine. And people think that, look, I know that in John's restaurant, before we eat pizza, we always get free wine. So for that, it gives you the ability of still doing your business and still coming in within and compete within a specific environment, because you can bring different type of flavors that your customers are going to like. Because not everybody's going to come to you anyway. There will always be other companies that are providing similar type of services, and you're going to have your customers, and they will also have their own customers. Think of a church. How many churches are out there? How many churches are out there? And they all pile up the people every Sunday because they have a flavor that's totally different from one pastor to another, or different church. They sing better, or people will always like different colors. And because people are always bound to have different colors, they will always think of different things that they want to.
I agree.
When it comes to a business.
I totally agree. So let's take another question here. And so somebody, Tim is actually asking, how do you make sure you differentiate yourself from competitors? But I think the response you just given right now sort of addresses that concern as well. So it's all about the flavors.
It's about understanding your target market and what flavors they like. That's all it is about. So that's how you differentiate. You know that your customer, just like you said, if I'm Romans, I want to target the young people. Okay,
yeah.
I give them a 2-in-1 pizza. So they come, they pay for
True.
That's how you differentiate yourself. If understanding your target market, you give them the flavor that they will want. Taking that flavor, there you go, you get your customer base, and your customer keep flowing every month.
That's it. So I'm going to talk about the one last topic, which I believe is quite interesting, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't think about it, especially African entrepreneurs. Okay, now we're talking about local entrepreneur, global impact, and listing on stock exchanges. So here's the thing: you are from the DRC, you live in South Africa, you launch your business from South Africa, targeting both the South African market and the DRC market, invariably because you are from the DRC, but you have a global impact, because I know you've tried to establish yourself in Mozambique, in Angola, in Nigeria, and so forth, because you wanted to be able to expand and get access to those markets where MaxiCash could also be played out. But also, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of attention to the details in that particular market, because there are certainly multiple versions of MaxiCash out there as well. I know for a fact, but the flavor is quite unique, and also who do you want to attract in that particular jurisdiction and so forth. Okay, so I want you to, and the reason why I want to talk about this is when I look at the DRC, right, and also even in South Africa, Black entrepreneurs, they always think about the local communities. And that's the problem, guys. That is a problem, especially when we live in the world that reduces itself because of access to internet. The world is no longer as round as we think it used to be, although that definition is right. But the world to me is flat, and we have access. I can jump into Nigeria within a minute. I can jump into Ghana within minutes. I can be in Singapore within minutes. Why? Because of the internet. Now, why do you think that entrepreneurs, especially from the diaspora, look, they're the diaspora, but they're looking Africa, and the market is just there. I'm just going to build something for that community. Let me add something else. There is a fund, an American fund that was established, right? I forgot the name of the fund though, but it was established to be able to invest in Black African ventures, startup companies. They spent about 5 years or so, but they realized that it was not worth it. Just about four weeks ago, they pulled out the fund.
Okay.
They pulled out the fund out of Africa, and they decided to redistribute the funds to their employees and so forth who had other better projects. And here's one sentence that actually made me think. This is what they said. Investing in Africa is something that can be done very quickly. We can invest in MaxiCash, we can invest in whatever project, but making money out of those investments is the difficult part. Now, but here's the thing, you as an entrepreneur watching this, how do you think you are going to repay an investor who invests $5 million in your business, and yet the only thing you do is to think about that community in Soshanguve or in Bandar? How much revenue, how much money are you going to make in that community? First, to match the $5 million investment. Second, to be in profit. And third, to give probably multiple X returns to this investment, because a venture capital firm is there to squeeze you out, first of all. And secondly, they're expecting you to give them 300X, which means if I give you $5 million, I want to make in 3 years' time, I want to make 25, or actually 25 is too little. I want to make $200 million. Now, if I give you 5 million and your business is only in Soshanguve or in Soweto, how on earth are you going to repay me so I can make my investors happy? So that's why I talk about, irrespective of if you are a local entrepreneur, you need to think of having a global reach, a global impact. Even if it is within Africa, it's already a start, because you're then reaching out to the African market. Not just your community. Use a community to get started validating your business, but think long term, so that if you want to attract good money, those guys are liquid enough, and they're liquid for them to be able to invest. So it's easy to invest in startups, but it's very difficult for them to make money. Can you talk about your journey on that perspective? And also the last point we're going to talk about is to touch on listing on stock exchanges. And I have some ideas there. I know you do as well, but I want to be able to, for us to educate. And I think that will be the last topic here.
Yeah, perfect. So there is I don't know if it's a training issue or maybe a misconception. There's always been something, if you look at any event or sports driven thing, or let's say you have to be the champion of the neighborhood, and then you become the champion of the town. Even in sports, that's how they kind of do it. And somehow subconsciously people are geared that way, thinking that if I have to start a business, let me start where people know me. If people know me here, I can have a small spaza shop. As the spaza shop is starting to grow, if it starts growing, if you're lucky enough to have the business growing, it becomes a bigger store. Then, okay, fine. Now I can have another branch in different town. I started somewhere in Soweto. Now I have another one in Pretoria. So people are kind of geared to think that way, right? I go to the US. Okay, I go present the MaxiCash app in 2016. I went to the connection conference, and we were selected amongst the startups that would meet investors. So there were a few investors interested to look into what we want to do for MaxiCash, and they want to hear from us to see a potential investment, right? I was amazed because they hear my story. What are you doing? I tell them what I'm doing with MaxiCash. I'm telling them what I want to do in Africa, in South Africa in particular, and I want them to bring the investment there. So the guys tell me, yeah, we like kind of your idea, but why aren't you putting your company here in the US? So there I was like, I bet US is on my market. It's on my market. What am I going to do here in the US, starting a company here in the US? I just didn't understand it, because yet again, I was subconsciously driven that way, thinking that I have to start at a particular place and then start growing it from there. Today, my understanding is totally different. They understand, while we have operation here in South Africa, in the DRC, the MaxiCash users are all over the world. About 60% of MaxiCash users are not even based here. So guys that are using this thing, and just like you said, for me to move from here to Nigeria and tell someone to use MaxiCash, it's faster than the time that took me to implement MaxiCash here. And that's what today I teach a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the DRC. I tell them MaxiCash Gateway is a way for you to globalize your business.
Correct.
I looked at Imart, I said, dude, you can globalize your business thanks to the MaxiCash Gateway, because the main challenge you have is not to be able to provide your service. Your main challenge was, how do you get paid? Now I've solved that for you. I've solved that problem for you, because anybody can pay you from anywhere in the world. That means now you can tell more people about your story. You can get payment from anywhere in the world. Like today, we could have a client who's in Nigeria, who's using the MaxiCash Gateway, and is able to get his money thanks to the MaxiCash card. So he can receive payments and withdraw his money there. So the dependency on the country is not even there anymore. The internet made it so simple that anybody can now use a platform like that as long as the platform is online. So today, the advice coming out of this meeting, that's one thing that people need to take care of, is that understanding that globalizing your business by the use of internet will even help you to grow faster. You go faster, you have better reach. People are able to get hold of you quicker. They're able to buy your services quicker. Even if you buy, I've got one of our partner, Molato Market, Senek Molato Market. He makes these amazing masks by using African materials. Selling his product into the US. He's selling his product to the UK, to France, Belgium. People are ordering this product from there because he doesn't have the worry of getting paid anymore. He globalized this business very quickly and he's able to now get his orders everywhere. And that's usually what I tell my partners, because you are able to quickly sell to Rwanda, sell to South Africa. You can quickly sell and expand your business quicker, because by staying in Bandal, just like you're saying, people are going to give you that investment and you are going to sell to the people of Bandal alone. You are so bound to what's there. How many people are really going to buy from you? And how much of education you're going to give, especially if you're an innovative product. Innovative products in Africa don't go hand in hand. It's challenging to convince an African using innovative products. So rather find ways, and some of the Africans like to see something that's based in the US and Europe, then they think it's the good thing, right? I don't know why, but when you are people out there also using it? So when you start saying, yeah, there's this guy in Europe, in France, he uses this thing. Okay, fine, that means the cool thing. That's how a lot of businesses are globalizing now today, opening themselves to the internet and obviously having accessibility to other customers out there.
Fantastic. And this is amazing because, look, it was not until 3 years ago that I was shocked to realize that a business that launches from South Africa or Nigeria or even Congo, when I say the entrepreneur is locally based there, but how you structure your business is important, especially when you have a global vision, right? You may have, for example, MaxiCash registered in South Africa, but you know that you want to be listed on the stock exchange. There is a reason for that, for listing on stock exchange. It is, okay, you've developed the value of the product, but now you want to go global and raise capital for you to expand even more. One way of raising capital is to go and list on the stock exchange. And guess what? You can list in New York City. You can list in NASDAQ. You can list in Singapore. You can list in Australia. All you need to do is to know how. So when this guy mentioned to me, man, I was so blown away. I was like, no, you got to be kidding. And he explained, look, just an example, right? So listing in NASDAQ, you need at least $500,000 just for filing the listing process. Sure. But you have to sell a minimum of $3 per share of your company. So which means working on the business model for the shares is very important. And when you sell that, okay, when you structure that deal, you now need to engage in the primary market. And the primary market, normally you attract what we call accredited investors. And the accredited investors are the people who can invest a certain amount and above. For example, I think in the US, it's actually about $100,000 and above. So about 2 million rand and above. Below that, they don't take you, right? So maybe you want to raise about $10 million because that's what you need for the expansion. So what do? You approach the investors, the private investors, you give them the shares, you tell them, listen, I am planning to list at NASDAQ in 3 years' time and at the valuation of $50 million or $100 million. But right now you're buying the shares at a valuation of $5 million. And I'm willing to give you this, but I want to raise $10 million for my global market expansion. When you understand that, man, and you structure your deals, guess what? You will be listed at that market. And also, There is a strategy for you to raise $500,000, not from your pocket, so you can actually pay for the listing.
Yes.
And those are the things that I've actually learned. And I realized, guys, the reason why people go on a stock exchange is because they enable what is known as the secondary market. The secondary market is where you and I and everybody else trade. You have your phone, you install the whatever, the eToro application or Easy Equity and so forth, and you start buying your shares there. But you know what? That's called the secondary market. There's so much money in the secondary market. And who makes the most money? The guys in the primary market. The guys who would have given you the $10 million. And that's how they create the wealth. Because now when you list in the secondary market, you will be listing at a valuation of $100 million. And guess what? They will offload a portion of their shares to dump it in the secondary market, whereby people are going to buy them to trade. And guess what? They're moving from 0.0001 cent a share and selling it at a minimum of $3 a share. And overnight, within 3 years, these guys, they make $1 million and they turn it to $10 million. That's the knowledge right there. That's the key. And those are the things that I'm particularly excited about on this journey. And I know you and I have been engaging and talking about that, but there will be other session entrepreneurs to teach you about these things, the importance of money, why you need to be thinking global, why a particular project should actually go and list, why you should not be afraid of attracting any market, and most importantly, why you should not just focus on your community, because the community is not going to make you the money. And I always say this, move away from the people you know. Get them to give you the feedback, but venture in places where you know nobody. Because your money, you are going to make it where people don't know you at all. And guess what? Your drive for you to be able to bring in value there and excel in that particular environment is the one thing that is going to make you successful. Lastly, Ruddy, I want to talk to you about the business nerd entrepreneur. You're the nerd, dude. And I know that now you're wearing glasses. I want you to close the session right now. I want you to inspire the crowd, inspire the people. And look, I'm impressed when I see you every time coming up with new ideas in your nerdy glasses, and you post something new. You say, hey, you know what? The nerd entrepreneur has done this and so forth. So please, and I know you've been calling that yourself for a very long time, and now it is a reality. First of all, kudos for what you're doing, but help entrepreneurs out there to get some good takeaways for tonight, man.
I guess that for mostly the tech entrepreneurs out there, all right? The tech entrepreneurs out there. Today I can call myself business nerd because I've managed to mix them. I managed to mix the tech side and the business side. Knowing that you want to be a tech entrepreneur, you can't limit yourself in the technology. Being great in technology is not enough. You're gonna have to find a way to get a mentor, a coach, whatever it is, to get some business knowledge, because business knowledge will help you even in the development of your product, of your craft, because you understand now that whatever tech you're doing is not for you. For you to get the money out there, you need to make sure you bring the technology that people are going to use, that are needed, identifying the needs, the particular needs that are out there, and building product tech that are really finding a solution to those problems. And that's what I've been able to do. That's what has helped me in my career in entrepreneurship. I always had a little bit of entrepreneurship in terms of interest, because my father has done entrepreneurship all my life. I've watched him sell clothes, have so many businesses. So that always was something that I had in me to be able to do something similar than him. Right? The tech side of things was purely passion. I've done a lot of tech stuff purely from a passion side, watching movies, watching Minority Report, and looking at
yes,
the future can be with technology, seeing how I can bring innovative goods or products out there for it. But today, taking the business side and your nerdy side makes today what I call the business nerd.
Man, this was an inspiring session, and I hope you guys that you learn a great deal from Ruddy's session and myself. These particular videos actually live on the internet to inspire as many people as you. You can actually go on my YouTube and subscribe on my YouTube channel for you to be able to get all the videos with all the interviews of people that I've met and people that I've actually gone on a journey with. I bring to you the best of the best. I bring to you some of the amazing guys that I've met around the world personally, and some people who are actually sharing some amazing stuff. And Rudy, thank you very much. And I'm pretty sure that you and I will come back again soon to talk about some of the advances of what you are doing in this particular space. And on this note, Rudy, I want to thank you and say I'll talk to you soon. All right. So, guys, this is an amazing show. And as you can see, I am privileged to be surrounded by some of the greatest minds out there. My journey has not been easy as an entrepreneur, but you know what? We've been able to grow and learn the hard way. And today, what we are all about is sharing that particular knowledge. I'm working on exciting stuff, guys. I am working with my team. Tabang, who is actually managing this particular show. In fact, it was his idea and said, John, it will be great for you to have a show. So, especially in this pandemic session, so we can start interacting with people. He's not here, but he's listening from the background, and he's sending me messages. So I have to multitask and see a few things. But Tabang, you and your team are doing some amazing stuff. They're working on my personal brand. They're working on my various websites. They're working on bringing to you the knowledge and every single thing that we are planning for you. The one exciting thing that we have at the moment is, of course, Cryptovecs Capital Ventures. In fact, I should have asked Rudy one question about, what is the one hurdle point of entrepreneurs raising money? Okay, so for them to be able to raise capital so they can actually expand in their businesses, right? And I know he's currently working on that, and I'm also helping him out the best way I can for him to be able to get access to the funding he needs. But again, re-engineering ourselves, our brain, our minds, refocusing so we can actually be more global and attract capital to us is key. And the other project we're working on is called Axalio. I am so excited about that. It is an African exchange and liberal investment opportunity. It's a digital bank where we are simplifying investment and banking as well as payments. So we are going to be talking about this as we go along, and some of you guys will have the opportunity of working very privately with me, while others will have the opportunity to see exactly how we unfold this particular project going forward. So on this note, I want to thank you all for everything, and I wish you the best, and stay tuned for more. And by the way, our show is going to reduce from 2 shows a week to only 1 show a week. But I think my team is going to decide whether we do it on a Monday or on a Friday, because we are very busy to working on other things. And for me to be spending time with you guys twice a week is becoming a little bit difficult. But you know what? I love spending time with you guys, and I will do my best to continue sharing as much knowledge. So stay tuned. And right now, I'm just going to I'll leave you guys on this particular outro or intro, whatever that is, and for you to know exactly what I am all about. Okay, stay tuned. Hold on.
So, can blockchain be a catalyst for development in Africa? Here is our interview with John Lombela.
It's going to be a pretty unique show where we're talking to digital entrepreneurs and black entrepreneurs that are actually doing great things. Let it be in the marketing space, let it be in cryptocurrency. And I brought back John Lombela, a good friend of mine who's been playing in that space for quite a while. John Lombela. John is the cryptocurrency guru. I call him like that.
I'm an entrepreneur myself, all the way from South Africa. It is important to always develop new things, right? So ambitiously build new cases beyond just financial services. Yes, we believe in the financial services. I mean, Bitcoin, as a matter of fact, was created as a payment system, a peer-to-peer cash electronic system. It all started from there, but it doesn't have to stop there.